Hey guys, it's Trigo, and I wanted to complain about the new League Champion Select. Uh, I'm not gonna go into Dynamic Queue, which I think is a bad idea, but that's not the primary argument that I have here. I have issues with the actual Champ Select itself. Um, First, I want to say I have almost no problems with it aesthetically. I love it aesthetically, as a matter of fact. I'm very excited about it. Probably the only thing that I do have a problem with is when it kind of has the weird chessboard topography map toward the beginning of the thing, right? Uh, right at the very end, it shows it, and it's like, hey, this is where all you guys ended up at. And then in the bottom right corner of the champion select, it has the exact same thing. And it looks really dumb. They need to, like, remove that bottom right map at the end or something, because it doesn't look right. Otherwise, pretty much every aesthetic part of it looks fine. Um, so there are some issues I have. I have a couple chroma skins. I know people don't like chromas. I do. I have no problem with them. I think a lot of people notice when I use a chroma as opposed to just a normal skin. I think it's because it looks really weird and people don't fully understand that it's a skin. Like, it's basically a skin. I don't know. But I get more comments on them than I do skins, so I just have to mention that. Anyway, you can't select chromas right now. Riot's aware of it, and they're going to fix it, but it's something that I have to, like, bring up anyway, because it's a problem. The new queue system doesn't resolve disputes among your friends. In the past, it would be pure pick order, right? And that was it. Let me give you what happened yesterday for me, because that's the best way I can explain it. I have 4 friends I play with, right? It's Adam, Alan, Brian, and Tyler, okay? And myself. Alan and me both wanted either top or mid. We didn't care which, but we both wanted it. Tyler wanted to play ADC or mid. Brian queued for support or jungle. That was what he was feeling that day. Adam came last, right? He just roll fills. He picked Phil. And what the system decided to do was to put both me and Alan, who selected the exact same positions, both in top. They had Adam go to mid, and they didn't give us a jungle. And I don't understand why. I feel like it should have just settled the dispute between me and Alan, right, by just arbitrarily assign us one or the other. Probably would have sent Adam jungle and would have given Brian support, which is what, sort of normally happens. We're pretty flexible with each other and we're on chat, but, like, we just wanted that one decision made for us. It's like, hey, Riot, we both picked this exact same position. How about you just tell us which one we are this time? We don't care that much. You can't pick one role. And that's a big issue. For the high elo community, they need to pick one role, right? Like, a lot of them are useless if they're not in that one role. Like, it's a giant detriment to your team. And in the low elo community, there's a big enough population that it should not affect queue times ever to pick one role. And I don't know why we are changing that. Like, if I want to be top lane, let me just be top lane. That's all I want to do. Why do I have to know how to play mid lane? Like, Faker doesn't need to know how to play top lane, right? At no point in his professional career is he ever going to have to go top lane, right? And play top. So why, in my ranked career, would I ever have to go to somewhere that I don't want to play? I don't understand it. It's stupid. They need to fix that. I know what they're trying to do is to cut down on the queue times, but that's what the fill button is for. A lot of the fill people are just like, just give me a position, I'll do it, right? And that's what is supposed to reduce the queue times. Not like anyone that picks one position is willing to wait for that one position. Also, they need a fill but X button, right? Because for me, this is more of a luxury, and I can understand that. But a lot of people don't play just one position, right? I think one of my friends, Cheyenne, doesn't play jungle, right? She'll play any other position. She doesn't care. She usually doesn't play top, but she can, right? She never plays jungle. I've seen her play it once, and that's because we forced her to do it. It's called, I know many support mains refuse to play ADC because they don't feel like they have the mechanics for it. I don't like playing ADC myself, right? Because I don't feel like I have, I don't know, like, the bot lane knowledge, whereas support, I feel like I can do well outside of the lane, and I don't require the whole, like, positioning thing. I'm better as a front line. And there's stuff like that, where, like, a lot of people are good at certain things and just not good at one thing, so they're like, don't let me do this, that's all I want. And that'd be a different change, and I understand that would take work, but like that's probably one of the more like bigger optional changes that need to be implemented. And here is an unforeseen problem I think Riot didn't anticipate. The new champion select takes longer. And I actually mean it takes longer. I don't mean waiting on it. I mean actually taking the champ select. It takes longer. The best way I can describe it is on blue side and red side, right? It's one pick, then two picks, then two picks, then two picks, then two picks, then one pick, right? Cool. Right in the old version, it used to give you, I think it was like 40 seconds, something like that, for each phase. All right, so pick one, 40 seconds, and then pick 2 and 3, right, on the red side. So the first two picks on the red side would both be 40 seconds. And now the case is that they give 40 seconds to the first person, and then 40 seconds to the second person. And you can't lock in anything as a second person until the first person has actually picked their thing. So that means it's potentially twice as long, right? And it has the disadvantage of like not knowing what you're allowed to pick, because Champ Select has been set up in such a way that you can never look at your champions unless you are picking. And that's a big problem. I have a lot of champions. I don't have them all, which is the big problem. If I had them all, I wouldn't have a problem, because I could just kind of like be like, oh, what champions work well here? But I'd like the list, but it'd be easier. I don't have them all. What's more, because this applies to draft and not just ranked, I don't know what's free either. So I can never, throughout the entire champion select process, know what champions I have available to me. I like to fill the role that I'm being given, right? If I'm top lane and I notice that we're low on magic damage and wave clear, I'll take a Lulu or something. If we're low on engage, right? But we have a good front line. You know, I'll take something else that's different. I don't know, Zed. He could just go in and be an asshole, and then everyone will follow up on me, and then I can shift out. Something like that. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm just saying, like, I tailor my picks to what I think we need. And by not letting me look at it, I'm going to take longer during the time I'm allowed to look at it to make my pick. Everybody else is doing that exact same thing. So everyone's taking the full length of time to choose their champion because they don't know what champions they're allowed to choose, because we're all forced to look at the animations in the middle. And they're very nice, but we're very concerned about what we can actually pick. It doesn't help us to know that, like, Riven's splash art looks pretty, right? Because we can see the little box on the left-hand side. Like, if we're not, you know, if we know 100% we're going to play Garen, right? It didn't matter, right? Like, we got the exact same result, but if we didn't, right, I'd like to be able to, like, look at all the other champions and be like, hey, is this a good matchup? Maybe, maybe not. What are my other options? So everybody's getting delayed by everybody else, right? Because we can't even see what we're supposed to be doing. I think the optimal strategy, like, let's say they're trying to just prevent people from the pick order being unenforced. Just give the first person 50 seconds and the second person 40 seconds, right? So the first person has 10 seconds where they can pick whoever they want, right? And then if they haven't yet, then the second person go on and they have the same queue timer. That way it, like, enforces the pick order, but it doesn't, like, force anyone to go fast. Because if we're allowed to look at champions the whole time, we'll have a rough idea. Right now we don't. Also, there is not a good way to, like, verify that you've changed your champion masteries. Before, it'd be like champion masteries were changed, and you would be like, okay, and they gave you a little prompt. Now it doesn't tell you that. And maybe this is like a getting used to thing, but it's very uncomfortable not getting a prompt saying that yes, this was changed. I want the visible knowledge being like, hey, yeah, you did this. I'm like, cool. Without it, it feels very unimpactful. Those are the main gripes I have with Champion Select. A lot of people have brought up the whole dynamic queue where it unbalances the ladder, and those are big problems to me, but they're not the Champion Select problems. That's something else entirely, and I'll let those people argue about that for their stuff, but these are my problems for the actual Champion Select. Thanks. Bye.